Welcome, everybody, to our second webinar session. Um, it's Thursday, almost the weekend, so hopefully this session can be a fun way to get the weekend kind of started. And this session is really all about our 10 core programs. So these are the programs that we came to market with. We have some of our best programs in the 10 core. All of these programs live in the recovery and performance playlists, and we're just gonna kind of talk through best use, best timing, how you can pair these programs to really get the most out of your sessions, and maybe share some fun facts along the way. If you have any questions, we're doing the Q&A at the end again, so just type those questions into us and we'll try to get to as many of those at the end of the webinar that we can. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we start talking about individual programs, we should probably cover what exactly makes up a HAELO program. And this is really where HAELO is very different from a lot of the other PEMF devices on the market, and that is, traditional PEMF and other devices are going to be delivering one single frequency per program or per session. And HAELO is very different from that. We're actually delivering layers of frequencies in each of our programs. And these layers are actually being sent through the coil in different sequences. So there's different groupings of these layers that are going to be delivered to you. And you can actually see that happen during a session. We have a very small little LED light on the front of the coil that flickers in tune with the frequencies. And at the end of each sequence, it actually stops. And then it will start up again with the new sequence of frequencies. And I can actually show you what this looks like because I got my coil right here. So when I press play on a program, right here, this little LED light, that's going to actually flicker in tune. And then when the next grouping is going to start up, that uh, that next grouping, it's going to pause and then it's going to start up again. So that's how the sequences work throughout our sessions. Some of our sessions are a little bit longer. Some of our programs, they have over 200 frequencies in them. And a lot of those 7-minute programs that are in the core 10 programs, those are closer to about 75 frequencies per session. So this is, again, this is how HAELO is a little bit different from some of the other PEMF devices out there, and really what makes us pretty special. And this is usually the next question that we get asked, and maybe some of you were going to ask this at the end, and that is, how many programs is actually normal when you're using HAELO? And it really is, to each their own. It depends on the person. Everybody kind of starts at a different baseline. Everybody has different goals, different lifestyles, and different demands that they're trying to answer with using HAELO. I will say on average, we typically see people using between 2 and 4 programs per day. Typically in one single sitting or one single session, you probably aren't going to run more than 3 programs in that session. And you'll see in the MyStacks playlist that we allow up to 3 programs to be stacked back to back. That's just a loose parameter that we set, but again, it's kind of up to you how many programs you're going to be running. But 2 to 4 really is that average marker that people are using. And it depends whether you're using it earlier in the day, in the afternoon, at night before bed, which is typically how I use it, but it's up to you the way that you're going to use the tech. And diving straight into the recovery playlist. So the recovery playlist, it only made sense to start here because this is actually where we tell everybody to start their HAELO journey. So if you ever have spoken with one of us at an event or over the phone, we always kind of recommend starting here, just to really reset the body. These ones are very beneficial for parasympathetic activation, just really helping to reset, really establish a healthy baseline before diving into some of those performance settings. So we typically guide people more towards these programs as they're very, very relaxing in nature. And, a lot of us need some of those relaxing elements to get started with PEMF. And this is just a fun fact to share with you guys. So Recover has been the favorite program in the HAELO library since we came to market. And just since January of this year, it accounts for 21% of all program plays in the library. And that's out of over 100,000 programs played. So it's a pretty large number when you think of it of people playing this program, and I know I'm definitely one of them. I know Mara's one of them as well. This is definitely kind of the go-to program right here. It's a 22-minute program. It is a very comprehensive recovery program, so you're getting physical elements, mental elements, nervous system elements all combined into this extremely just powerful program. It's great on its own, but it also pairs really well with most of the other programs in our library. And one thing that people typically think of with this program is it has to be a reactive program. Something just happened and I need physical recovery, I'll just use Recover. But that's really not how this program is designed. This program is really designed as a proactive recovery tool, something that can be integrated into your daily routine as a high performer. If you are an athlete or just, physically very active, this is something where you can really stay on top of your recovery and just make sure that your baseline is, at a good starting point when you're performing. So I typically, you don't want to wait until you're feeling sore to run recover. You want to run recover if you know that you just hit a big workout and you're probably going to be sore the next day. And then that's a really good opportunity to just go ahead and play recover, within an hour or two after that workout or competition, that would typically leave you sore so that you can start sending those recovery frequencies to the cells and just really kickstart that process. So think of this one as proactive. It's reactive as well, it's still great for that, but also proactive. And Relief is kind of the sister program to Recover. So both of these are the same length. I'm sure there's some overlapping frequencies in both of these programs, but Relief can be thought of a little bit more as that reactive program. So, any sort of tension in the body, any sort of discomfort, you can respond to it with Relief. The thing with these two programs is because they're a little bit sister programs, sometimes people just prefer one over the other, and that's totally fine. You might use Relief as your go-to proactive recovery program. If it responds better to you, then that's great. And other people might go with Recover. So it's kind of depends on the person, but Relief again, it's one of those mental, physical, whole body, comprehensive recovery programs that you can use if you're just feeling, really stressed, if that stress is starting to show up in the body. This one is really great, especially also before bed. Calm is another one. Gosh, I mean, if I were to be picking favorites, Calm is definitely number one on my list. I've probably run Calm, I don't even know, thousands of times in 5 years here. It's just a very consistent program, before bed. We also think of this one as a primer. So this one is really good before some of the other recovery programs that we offer. Even some of the performance programs. I mean, if you want like a calm initiation of energy, this one can go with those as well. So this is just a really good parasympathetic program. It's great to just help relax the body. Sometimes I feel it behind my eyes, as I'm using it before bed. So you really will feel that sense of relaxation with this program. So it's a really good one if you're just looking for stress relief or anything like that throughout the week. And this one is great in the morning as well. This is not just like a nighttime program only. If you're feeling stressed and you need more relaxation in the morning or throughout the day, you know, feel free to run Calm throughout the day as well. Defense is one of those where, you're not gonna really feel much with this one. Some of the other ones you might have certain sensations with. Obviously, there's no physical sensation from the coil with any of these programs, but some of them you will feel, internally more than others. Defense is just an immune supporter. So it's all about resiliency, creating strength inside the body, just making sure that everything is functioning really well. This one is really good, obviously, during winter months when you're traveling a lot more. If you're under a lot of stress and just need, more of that support internally, defense is a really good one to run at those times. But this is also one that you can just kind of stay on top of. You could use defense a few times throughout the week, and just feel good, make sure that your immune system is supported, and just kind of make sure that the body is functioning the way that you want it to. Harmonize. This one is an awesome program, and often people say it leaves them feeling lighter afterwards. which makes sense because it's all about alignment. So this is mind, body, spirit. This is everything. It's a little bit like if you think of yoga or breath work or meditation or anything like that. That's how you can kind of visualize this program and what it can do for you. It's a very, very strong program. I know a lot of male athletes who actually gravitate a ton towards this program just because of how light they feel afterwards. It has very balancing effects in the body. So if you're just kind of looking for that, Calm is a great option. Harmonize is another really good one if you want to tap into that as well. And those two together, it's like a 15-minute session and you can get both of the benefits in one. All right, so that's the recovery playlist. Again, there's so many different ways that you can combine those programs together to create longer session times. Obviously, you can start to tap into some of those premium playlist programs as well that pair really well with some of those programs as well. But for the core 10, those five are a very, very good place to start your HAELO journey if you have not started using HAELO yet. And if you have started using HAELO, those I'm sure are some staples in your routine already. And if they're not, then I'm sure they will be after this one. So, performance, power. It's in the name, as all of these are, but especially power. This one was designed for power lifters. So, this is a strength program right here. It is a physical program. It is something that, you typically don't want to run later in the day. This is a earlier in the day program, unless you have some sort of competition or, big lift later in the day. But this one it gets your sympathetic state activated. It gets you ready for performance. So, there's energy associated with it, but really just feelings of, you know, I could maybe not go run through a brick wall, but you could go lift a lot of weights potentially with this one. So, yeah, this one's actually great on its own. You don't really even need to pair it with other programs sometimes, but still pairs well with some of those like the level ups and replenishes. Level up. I typically describe this as a softer version of power. It's a little bit more of a smooth initiation over time. It's not something that's really gonna, slap you in the face with energy, but it's gonna make you feel really good and very ready to go. This is a very popular one among pro athletes. So anyone who's looking to have kind of a consistent performance program in their routine, Level Up is definitely a popular one. But again, this one is, less of a power surge than power, but still going to lead to some of those energizing feelings and just feelings of overall readiness. Prepare, another great one. This one, it leans a little bit more on the mental side of things. So if you're trying to differentiate, power, Level Up, and prepare, you can think power, physical, Level Up, more of a smooth initiation of energy, and prepare is more of the mental side. They all contain frequencies that will work with the entire body and mind, but you can think of them as a little bit more distinct towards certain areas. And fun fact about Prepare, this one was almost named Motivate. So you can kind of think about what is going on in this program with knowing that it was almost named Motivate. It's all about confidence and all about really just helping you feel ready for competition or the work day or whatever it is that you have set out in front of you. Focus is exactly in the name. It's all about concentration. This one is really good for the working professional. It's also really good for athletes who have to hone in on something specific. Even if you were to do something like meditate or set intentions before focus, and then you run focus and you have that intention set, focus is really designed to help you achieve that intention. So this is really just about concentration and making sure that you remain focused and that your brain fog is not entirely there and it just helps, clear things up a little bit. Trying to use the word focus, trying to describe focus without using the term focus is a challenging one because that really is what it's all about. All right, last but not least in the performance playlist is Replenish. This is a really cool program because it could be in the recovery playlist, it could be in the performance playlist. The reason it lives in the performance playlist is because there is sometimes energy that happens as a result of really nourishing your cells. So if you're really driving good nutrients into the cells and making sure that you're, you know, removing all of the bad from the cell, a lot of times it could leave you with a little bit of an energy boost. So that's why this one's in performance, but this one could be used before or after a workout. When you're traveling, I've used this so many times before bed, actually, when I'm traveling, just to help, re-nourish my body. So to each their own with this one. If it does cause an energy boost, you might not want to run it in the evening, but this is just a really, really good staple in your routine just to make sure that you're staying nourished and you're staying, on top of everything. So those are our core 10 programs right there. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways that you can use these programs. There's ways that you can combine them together to create these full sessions. So when we're talking about stacking and sessions, that is a combination of multiple programs played back to back. So we kind of categorize these different sessions as such. So we have way more examples than the ones that you're seeing on the screen right now. But general recovery, recover and relief, that's a 45-minute total session time. Great for comprehensive recovery. You're getting everything from both of those programs back to back. And then calm and recover that you see in that general recovery, that's actually our most played stack of all time. So those two together are really, really impactful and great before bed if you're just trying to get a good sleep and make sure that the recovery process overnight is taking place. But these are just examples right here. Again, you'll see some that are listed in the premium playlist that I didn't cover today in this list as well, but these are just examples of some really good sessions and ways that you can stack different programs together. All right, we got through the 10 core programs. Hopefully this helps everybody just kind of understand the differences. I know there's only key differences in some of these programs, and a lot of it does kind of depend on how you want to use these and what works best for you. And then once you find the programs that work best for you, you just take it and run with it. So, yeah, it's just that's the 10 core right there. We're going to go into Q&A now. This QR code right here, just, while we're doing the Q&A, for anybody who wants to scan it, this actually will take you to how-to videos. So if you're getting started with HAELO and just want to know a little bit more about what that looks like, you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to a whole video segment of, how to get started, how to use your HAELO, etc. So that'll just stay on screen here while we go through and answer some questions.
And you always have the option to write us any question you have about any program or stacking those programs together by emailing support@halo.com or scheduling a call with us at halo.com on our website. You can't miss the big blue button in the top right-hand corner that says schedule a call. Just click it, select a time that works for you, and we'll be happy to give you a call at that time.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to dive in. And Mara, I'm going to pass this first question off to you. This is Mara. Mara was the lead of our first webinar. She's our head of research here. She wears many hats. And she's a brilliant mind when it comes to PEMF and HAELO. So I'm going to pass this off to Mara. So first question, Mara, why are some programs 22 minutes and some are 7 minutes or less?
Great question. Well, first of all, we wanted to give you options. Not everybody has 22 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes, or even 10 minutes in their day to play programs with HAELO. So we wanted to give you, a selection of different time frames. So when you can always play an individual program, but when you're stacking programs together, you can build a session around the amount of time you have. So if you only have 7 minutes that day, play a 7-minute program like Calm. If you have 22 minutes, Recover is a great option. And if you have 45 minutes, you can choose from one of our stacks or create your own stack just by going into the My Stacks playlist and creating and saving one that amounts to about 45 minutes or however much time you have. And side note, if a program is shorter, it's because it's more focused. So focus is very focused on bringing you or helping you to achieve that goal. Recover is a very comprehensive program, so is Relief, and so are some of the other premium programs you'll see, like Brain Recovery, Brain Performance. And they're long because they're chock full of frequencies that are not just supporting the goal for which the program's named, but there's a lot of other supportive elements or frequencies that we've added into that program to support that goal. So if you
Yeah,
have more questions on that, we're happy to answer that via email or a phone call.
that was a great answer.
Yeah.
This question right here, when will the premium playlist be covered? That will start to be covered on the next webinar session. So we wanted to really dive into the 10 core programs on this session right here. It is kind of the foundation of HAELO, so we wanted to make sure that people really understand how to properly use those programs and, have those basic questions answered. And then we're really excited to dive into premium because there's a lot to cover in there now. I think over 40 programs or something. So we're gonna have a lot of
And
fun
more to
breaking that
come.
up into multiple sessions after this.
Yeah, we'll sort of focus them into categories as well. So you have a better understanding of what's in there and how to navigate that.
Yeah. All right. This question, Mara, I'll let you answer this one.
Sure.
I've recently purchased an Apollo Neuro, a little different than PEMF. It's a nervous system regulator, gives a small vibration. Would it be okay to use the Apollo Neuro at the same time as HAELO?
So proceed with caution. We we don't have studies to show how HALO will interact with another technology. So just be mindful of that, um, and be cautious about combining any technologies that are stimulating the body or stimulating the cell at the same time. Generally, what we say to people is if you are using one frequency emitting device, remember frequencies stimulate the cells. They will have a stimulatory effect on the body. And so if you're doing another technology that is also doing the same thing at the same time, your body's going to be receiving mixed signals. So one technology is delivering a signal or a message to your cells, and the other technology is delivering a signal or a message to your cells. Best practice is just to use them separately when in doubt. That way, your body receives the message from HALO, assimilates that message, and then your body receives the message or the frequencies from your other technologies that you're using. And then remember to give your body time between use in order to allow these frequencies or these stimulations to assimilate. It does take time for your cells to absorb what we're sending in and process that.
Yep. All right. Next question here, just to confirm, can I run Calm before any program? Yes, other than I would say Power is probably the only one that you wouldn't run at the same time as Calm. Those programs are very opposite. So Calm, you can think parasympathetic, Power, you can think sympathetic. Those ones would kind of nullify each other in a sense. So yeah, I would just, stick to Calm with really almost anything else. I mean, you can run it with other performance programs. So that would be the one that I would not use Calm with. Um, Premium programs like cold plunge, oxygenation, do you need to be doing those things to benefit from using those programs on HAELO? So, in other words, do you need to be doing that modality and those HAELO programs to receive the benefits from those programs? Mara, I'll let you
Yeah.
run with that one.
Um, Short answer is no. We really design these programs. So first of all, we design these programs to complement those modalities. So if you happen to own those modalities or have access to them, uh, feel free to use them, one after the other. You can use HALO before, during, or after those modalities. Obviously, you're not going to take your HALO into the cold plunge with you, so proceed with caution there. Use common
Or don't
sense,
do
but
it. Don't
don't do
proceed
it at
with
all.
caution, just don't do it.
Yeah, sorry. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Proceed with caution in general. Um, but these programs were designed to mimic these modalities and bring you the benefits of these modalities. So, for example, cold plunge is really designed to uh, work on your whole system and bring the benefits of circulation, oxygenation, etc., and recovery that cold plunge is meant to bring as well. So you can use them in place of that tech if you don't own it, or use it in conjunction with that tech. Don't take it anytime.
It's really mimicking those modalities with frequencies.
That's right.
So it's
That's right.
mimicking
Yeah.
the effects and the benefits of those modalities with frequencies. So yeah, like Mara said, you don't need to do it at the same time. But you can. That there's
You
always the option that you can, other than cold
that's right.
plunge. And that leads into another really good question. Would you want to use HAELO before or during light therapy, red light therapy, sauna sessions? And I know we always say, you could do before, during, after. Sauna's probably before, after, just because of the heat element that you're working with, but HAELO before is probably the best. It just helps to prime your cells and ready the body for that next modality. So the best rule of thumb is start with HAELO. Start with PEMF therapy, really prepare your cells for really accepting this next modality that you're going to be doing. But you can still do it after and receive a ton of benefits from it as well. It's really up to you. And red light during is great. I think red light and HAELO or red light and PEMF therapy in general, that is a super, super powerful combination of modalities. One that I know the entire HAELO team does, and a lot of people that I've spoken with do as well.
And side note, replenish is not officially one of our accelerator frequency sets or modality complementers, but replenish, we call that the IV drip for your cells, the energetic IV drip for your cells. So if you have a place of business or you go and you get IV drips, then feel free to play replenish before, during, or after that as well, because that's just going to drive those benefits further and
Yep,
help bring those nutrients to the cell.
yep, exactly. All right, this one right here, inflammation. So our inflammation program, very popular program. Does the coil need to be placed in the area where the problem is, or can you just sit with the coil on your core?
It is up to you completely.
Yeah.
If you have inflammation, let's say in your knees, then we absolutely say find a comfortable way of placing the coil in that area. We say under the knee and run that program. The center of that coil is the strongest part of that field or the most um, intense part of our electromagnetic field. And if you have the indicator magnet that we've sent you, and you're holding that in the center of the field, you'll have noticed that the vibration of that magnet is actually strongest at the center of the coil. So that's going to be the most impactful zone of our coil. So yes, definitely place that on the area of concern or the area that you're working on most of the time. Now, if it's uncomfortable to do that or you're not able to because of your chair or whatever, then just place it on your abdomen or chest. Your body is electrical, your body is water. So those frequencies are going to make it where they need to go, and your body is going to receive that message regardless of where that coil is. But for greatest impact and efficacy, absolutely put it on that area.
Yep. And great next question, and we do get this one a lot. Do both sides of the coil work the same? Yes, they do. The one side of the coil here, and I'll show you this side right here that has the white rings around it and the small little LED. That is the side where the LED is shown. So most of the time you'll just place this face up if you want to see an indicator of the frequencies flowing through the coil. But, me personally, if I'm using this before bed and I don't want to see the light flickering, I'll just turn the coil over. But it's the same exact experience whether the coil is flipped with the white rings up or down. Um, this is a good question. It is premium related, and we can maybe I'm wondering if we should move it because we are at 7:30. It is how often should you use the 10-day reset program? So I don't know,
I'll
Mara, if
I'll
you have just
I'll give a quick
a
answer.
quick
Yeah.
answer for that one. Yeah.
Um, I think a good rule of thumb for going through any kind of reset, whole body reset, is once a quarter is a great time. 4 times a year, it's a great time to do that. You could do it once every 6 months. It just really depends on you and how much time you have, but um, you shouldn't need it really more than that. But again, tune in to your body. And if you're accepting those programs well, if you've gone through the 10-day reset pretty well and you feel, um, you know, great at the end of it, um, give yourself time to assimilate those frequencies and what we're doing in that program. That program's really, really about working from head to toe, inside, outside, from the cell level to the skin. So you want to give yourself time to really assimilate all of that. So once a quarter, that's my recommendation.
Yep. All right. I'm going to stop it there. We'll go to the very last slide here. If you stuck around to see what the next webinar topic is going to be, this is when we start diving into the premium playlist. So we have multiple categories within that premium playlist, and we're going to start at the top with that Recovery Plus category. And in there, there's 5 programs, and those 5 programs, you'll see inflammation listed right there. That is our top program in the premium playlist. So that's going to be a heavy hitter for us to cover on the next webinar session. So we're excited to go through all of these and do the same thing we did today, just best times to use it, best programs to pair these with, etc. And we'll send you more information just around when that next webinar is going to be. But for now, we'll just say, have a good rest of your Thursday and a great weekend. And if we didn't get to your question today, please email our support channel or schedule a call, and we'll make sure that we talk with you live. So thank you guys for tuning in, and hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.